first of all, did you watch the debate between Biden and Trump?
I watched a glorious 15 minutes of it. I found out that Joe Biden was actually one of my countrymen, a fellow Palestinian. He just wasn't a good one.
Okay,
he's just a weak one.
Very good, very good.
He's a much better golfer than I thought as well. Gosh, wow, amazing. I actually thought it was so funny that when he said it, like, I was a 6 handicap when I was the vice president.
So funny to watch two old men bicker about their golf game.
So good.
I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6.
And he goes, it's like, to me, I was like, well, I guess you weren't doing your job as vice president at that time.
Yeah, right.
But Trump then goes,
let's not be children.
Let's not act like children.
No, he said that, but he says, like, there's no way you were a 6. And then Biden goes, I was an 8.
Did he? I think, yeah.
That's the biggest lie that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
So Thursday and I went and watched it together, and I think I texted him. I said, I am embarrassed about how much I'm looking forward to watching this debate. I was actually excited about it. But the reason I bring this up is I wanted to address what was said regarding abortion, unless you have another comment, which I think you do.
No. I just enjoyed it so much. It was like WWE, Also, okay, I gotta say this.
Yeah.
I also loved how the moderators took them seriously. Thank you, Mr. President. President Trump, former President Trump. And then it was just like, really? You're like pretending like this is serious right now? This is amazing.
A lot of people have been talking about elder abuse. I want to give a quotation from Pope Francis. This comes from June 15th. How many times are the elderly discarded with an attitude of abandonment, which is actual, real, and hidden euthanasia? There's that spectrum again, I guess.
Nice.
It is the result of a throwaway culture which is so harmful to our world. We are all called to oppose this poisonous throwaway culture.
Wow.
But let's look at what they said about abortion, okay? So this comes from an article I got somewhere online. But in an exchange about abortion, Trump reiterated his position that abortion should be left to individual states to legislate. Asked if he would restrict at the federal level a particular drug, which I can't pronounce. The drug is used in combination with another drug I can't pronounce, both for early abortion and early miscarriage care. What a disgusting way to phrase it. Trump replied that, quote, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill and I agree with their decision. I will not block it. The Supreme Court, June 13, unanimously dismissed a challenge to mifepristone, finding that the challengers lacked standing to bring the case. Biden and Trump sparred on abortion, with Biden arguing that the 1973 Roe v. Wade abortion decision overturned by the Supreme Court in 2022 should be restored. Pressed by Bash on whether he supported any limits on abortion, Biden did not identify any specific gestational limit, arguing the decision should be left to a woman and her doctors. But he then added, we are not for late-term abortion, period. So what I really want to ask, because we all realize that Biden is clearly misrepresenting and the Catholic faith, to put it absolutely mildly. But what was your take on what Trump said about leaving it up to the courts? Is it a good practical strategy if we want to eradicate abortion? Should we be trying to come at it in an incremental type way like this that doesn't freak everybody out? Or should he have been a lot more bold, even if it would have jeopardized his ability to do more in this area?
Right. So, there comes to the question of intention here, obviously. Is it his intention to eradicate it totally? And I'm not convinced of that at all.
No.
I think it's quite obvious that it's, at the very least...
it's politically expedient at this point.
Exactly.
Like in 2016, it was expedient to say something like, of course, a woman should have some penalty, right, if she's going to be engaging in abortion. Yeah. Now it's not, and so he's saying something very different,
You should lick that.
I just dropped beer, everybody. Lick it. No, I'm not going to lick it. You can't make me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for Trump, it was just tremendously disappointing to hear that. And actually, at one point, I was thinking, like, what's the difference, for Biden, who is saying, third trimester, according to Roe v. Wade, is up to the states. Trump was saying, just give all 3 trimesters to the states. It's like your position is actually not all that far apart from one another, right? And I just find that this is really the fundamental critique that you can level against the modern state, is that who do you claim has the source of life? Like, does the government define who has life or who does not have life? Or are they after protecting it fundamentally? And these are completely two different visions of government, right? On the one hand, they're defining the pattern and order of life. And the other, they're protecting the pattern and order of life that organically arises from the peace that we find with one another and the friendship that we find with one another. So this is fundamentally different. I also think it's just crazy to live in a world where we're all survivors.
Yeah.
And we are. It's like the fact that we did make it through is so beyond anything that we did that we just kind of feel lucky that we made it through.
That no one
right?
intentionally ended our life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, and then you get to the other question of, well, like, why did we make it through? It's like some of us just had, parents that were so grateful and received the gifts of God that they were given. But others, we were chosen because we were either male and not female. And that obviously happens a lot in other societies. Or we were female and not male. Or that a big one is that our mom was either, if our mom was in college, then we died. If she was out of college, then we lived. Right? It's just all this crazy situational occasions of that define whether or not we are survivors.
So if his intention, which neither of us can read or know,
Sure.
is
gladly
to
submit. Yeah.
have a total abortion ban and eradicate abortion, and yet he's phrasing it this way, giving it back to the states as a pragmatic approach, would you be in favor of that? Or do you think, no, morally, you should be condemning abortion the whole way through, even if you ruin your chances of becoming president?
Yeah, I do think that that's what you have to do, even for the sake of your own soul and saving it, right? I think also that you cannot create good law without a clear end. And so to be able to define what our lodestar is, that life is a gift, that is something that we are our brother's keepers, and that we must be people that maintain and cultivate the peace rather than define how other people should live, which is the definition of tyranny, then I think we've just gotten our entire political regime backwards. And that this is the thing that we need to get right. And if we don't get this right, we're not getting anything else right. It's all about life, right?
So how do you think Trump supporters should respond to this message?
With profound disappointment. And that this is an occasion for us, maybe privately, to be engaging in that real politicking, right? I guess I'm going to vote for him anyway.
Yeah.
Or not, that's a good argument to not, right? I think.
Yeah.
But to know where his shortcomings and to define it and don't raise him up as a god, as everybody is tempted to do during this time of debate. So
that's good. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.